There we go.
Hello, we are live. Welcome, Richard Silver from Sotheby's International Realty Canada. We are so fortunate to have him join us today and share a little bit about what he's been doing with AI. I know this is like a hot topic right now. We're all talking about it, whether you've decided to jump in and start being a power user, or if you're still thinking about dipping your toe in the water. We're going to hear some really cool practical uses here today. And I will also be manning the chat and questions and that kind of thing. So
Yeah,
you can either use the buttons here to raise your hand or enter a question into the chat and we'll make sure that Richard hears it. And I will hand it on over to you, Richard. Thank you so much for
thank you.
being here.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure. I'll share my screen with you. And I just want to, I'll start off by, whoops, let me go here. And take you back to the beginning. Yep.
Technology
Big
is always
size,
so
full
fun.
size. Yeah, I just
Here
want
we
to get
go.
back
Yeah, that
to,
looks good.
yes. Okay, so I want to get us back to the beginning. So this is a product I'm using, and I will show it to you in a sec. But I'll tell you a little bit about me.
I just started in a meeting from 11 to 12:30, but that's okay. I can make it pretty fast. So they are very appreciative of the offer. We are good on price. They would like to
Sandra.
keep the closing date of May.
Sandra, we're all listening to you.
It happens. What can I say? It happens. Okay. So can you see my screen?
Yes.
Everybody? Yeah. And don't worry about having your mics off. If you have any questions you want to ask, I totally get it. That is good. What's happening right now, and I want to get rid of this little square, is I want to be able to start the slides. And play.
It's in the upper right, the little play button, the circle.
I know, but that's, yeah, the problem is
no, go down.
covered. Oh,
right
there it is. I got it. I got it. There we go. There we go. Now I'm going to keep the top up there, okay, just so you know, because I'm going to go back and forth between a couple of screens. But let me just tell you about AI. I've been using AI for a little over a year. I really, really like it. And I'm one of those people. I started when the internet came around. I started using the internet right away. When social media came around, I started using that right away. And what I love about AI, I will tell you later. But I want to talk to you a little bit about AI and tell you about some of the things that I've learned or that I think. I think you can use real estate, you can use the AI and it'll change your market and it'll be great. And it is here to stay. And it'll augment your human capabilities. And I think those of you who embrace AI will be doing a lot better than those of you who do not embrace AI. I think it's very, very important that you take AI and you use it in its best capabilities. There's always going to be, you know, when the internet came out, there was always some bad actors. There were some bad actors with social media. There still are. And there's going to be some bad actors with AI. However, there's lots of great uses if you are into doing them. So why AI matters, okay? So you can take data analysis. We're going to do that today. We're going to talk about property valuations. We're going to do enhanced search and discovery. There's all sorts of things you can use AI for to help you. You can also set up AI to act as a web bot to answer your clients' questions. You can use AI to streamline processes and do predictive analytics, find out where the market is going to go. And you can also talk about things that you would, you know, realize that you would suggest and from your personal view. And one of the most important things that you can do with AI is you can say if you're using Chat GPT, and we'll show you that in a minute, if you're using Chat GPT, you can get Chat GPT to know you. You can treat it as if it is your assistant. So you'd have a meeting with your assistant. You'd say, this is the way I want you to speak about this. This is, I'm positive, I'm realistic. I want you to write a compelling ad. So basically treat it as if it's your assistant and move ahead with it in that format. It is wonderful. It will learn from you, but you have to share information with it. And I'll tell you that AI is the biggest gift in my 45-year career. Yes. I have been selling real estate 45 years. Do you believe it? I started, of course, when it was, you only had to be 5 years old to get your license. So I wish that were the truth. So those of you who have age issues or say, well, I can't do this because I'm too old, I'm about to turn 75. So if I can do it at 75 and just be happy with all of this, so you can as well. So let's talk about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is the one we talk about mostly. And I want to tell you a little bit about it. There is, and I will show you something I'll show you ChatGPT. I want you to go here. I'm on the paid version. So there's two different types of ChatGPT. There is the free version, which is 3.5, and this is the paid version, which is ChatGPT 4. All right. Now, if you sign up for the ChatGPT 4, which is $20 a month, which is, believe me, at the end of the day, it's the best money you'll ever spend. When you sign up, you can come down here and you can click on your name and you can give it custom instructions. So these custom instructions, can you see them now? I'm hoping you can. Basically, you can take your mics off, guys, if you want to chat and jump in. So the instructions it's giving me, right, or that I'm giving it, is I can say, where are you based? What kind of work do you do? What are your hobbies and interests? So I have taught ChatGPT who I am and what it is that I want to talk about. All right. And I can also say how I want to, how formal or casual should ChatGPT. And you can see I put in here, try to be positive but realistic in your responses and opinions. I'm an associate. I will designate the length in my prompts. In other words, so I will write a prompt and I'll say, our MLS allows 500 words. So do an introduction about a property that has 500 words in it, etc. So that is how we move forward with ChatGPT to begin with. Now, once those are there, then I can go into ChatGPT and I can take information and I can use it. So I'm going to go back to the screen that we were working on, which is this one. And let's talk about some of the ways we can use ChatGPT. It will give us fresh content ideas. So I'm looking, tell me what's happening around Kennebunkport, Maine in the next month. What celebrations are happening. It will search the internet. And these days, if you're using ChatGPT 4, it will also give you the sources that it's providing the information from. 3.5, I don't think does that, but 4 will allow you to have the sources. So a lot of people will say to you, well, how can you trust the information? And it basically will go out and it'll show you where that information comes from, point by point by point. So that's pretty wonderful now. It's a new addition. And I have to tell you that every day you wake up in the morning, you go to ChatGPT or you search a program under AI, and the next day it's going to change. So if those of you are using Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it'll allow you to have content. You can content local events. You can talk about market analysis for your trends in LinkedIn. TikTok videos, if those of you are doing TikTok, it'll give you suggestions. It'll give you suggestions for emojis. It'll give you suggestions for your SEO. So we'll see more of it as we go, and I'll give you some prompts that you can play with. And you can do blog posts, and those are, every single one of you sitting on this conference right now in this call, you are bloggers. You may not realize it, but you are bloggers. We get asked questions every day, and you are the person who answers those questions. And all you're going to do, take that question, put it into ChatGPT, it'll write you an answer, and you can do a blog from that answer and personalize it in your own way. So I've added my friend Katie Lance here at the bottom. Katie Lance, KatieLance.com teaches ChatGPT. She teaches. Okay, now I'm unmuted. Can you hear me?
There, yes, we can hear you
Okay.
now.
And you've been able to hear me before, or it just went into mute?
It was just a few seconds.
Okay, good. Okay, so let's talk about your listings with ChatGPT. MLS descriptions. Those of you, I hope everyone by now is trying to use ChatGPT for their MLS descriptions. They're great. You can work into, diversity. You can tell them who you are. You sell luxury real estate. So let's look at all your MLS descriptions in a certain way, with a certain voice. And you can say, okay, here's my MLS description. Please write me an ad for Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, include the emojis, include the hashtags that we would like to add, and it does it all for you. And it's a great time saver. I mean, the internet was wonderful, social media was wonderful, but they seem to be a bit of a rabbit hole for a lot of us, where we did spend a lot of time searching. The thing about ChatGPT and other AI is that it is like having your assistant, and it can save you time. And the idea, that's why I love it. Anything that's going to save me time, make my life easier, and make me more productive, and give me more family time, or even more time to watch my favorite Netflix series, is great. So you can do email and email copy, and we're gonna revisit that in a few minutes, and I'll talk to you more about it. And video tour ideas. We're constantly looking for video tours. I'm meeting with my videographer this afternoon. We're going to try and book about 10 or 15 different quick little short videos, and we're going to talk more about video in a few minutes. So there's lots of marketing strategies, especially if you're using video, because as we know these days, people, they like video, they like presentations. There's a very wonderful man by the name of Bruce Turkel, and I just got his email this morning, and he does a newsletter every week. And the first thing in the newsletter is you get a chance to listen to him on video, speaking and talking about what he's talking about, or you get to watch him, or you get to read the information he's giving you. So we've started to use that as in our newsletters. Is I will sit and I will basically go over what's in the newsletter, but people have the option of reading it if they want. So I'm presenting it to them in two different ways. However my clients want to look at the information is totally up to them. So we can get scripts, local articles, flyers, and brochures. There's a friend of mine who's on the call, I hope right now, and he's working on marketing using AI and just basically sending it for you to approval on your iPhone. You deal with the bot, and it sends the information back. It changes it, and then you can go and paste it and post it. Sorry, and post. So drip email campaigns, there's all sorts of things, educational content, personal outreach. And again, if you want to get into much more depth and a really good teacher, KatieLance.com, either ChatGPT, but definitely follow Katie Lance. She's amazing. She always is up to date with the latest and greatest of what's happening in real estate and technology. So here's your homework. Okay, we're going to go into ChatGPT in a minute, but here's your homework. What I want you to do is take these prompts. So you're going to go in here and you're going to cut and paste. Sorry, let me go back. You are going to, sorry. Love technology, hate technology, always challenges. Nothing ever is perfect.
I think that is
Okay.
perfect, actually, right? The
There.
show must go on.
So here are some of the prompts that I want you to just open up. If you haven't signed up for the full version, go into the version that you have, the free version, and just cut and paste those prompts. So write me an overview of the current housing market in Toronto or wherever you want to be, what factors are affecting home prices. then play with it. Look at the property descriptions, play with them. List the steps a first-time home buyer should consider. All of these are prompts that will produce information in their content that you can send out to your clients, whether you do it on Facebook, Instagram, newsletters. There's a lot of information there. And here's another page of prompts. So this is your homework. You'll get these screens when you get them, cut and paste that information, put it into ChatGPT one by one, and start playing with it more. And let ChatGPT to know you and know what your voice is. Because again, it is like having a computerized assistant, basically. So I want to show you some other tools, but before we go into that, let me go and I'm going to show you what I've done for you. Here, if you can see it, this is from the main home values increase and sales in December. So it's from your real estate board. It's a 2-page. I just found it online. It's September only chart. And this is the information as of October 19th. What I will do is I will take all of this, or let's say, let me take it down to here. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to open ChatGPT. And I'm going to make ChatGPT a request. My request is going to be, please make this information, please make sense. How about that? Please make sense. Yep. I'm not a great typer. I failed that class in high school. Please make sense of this information for buyers, sellers, and realtors. Okay. And then I'm going to add that information that I've copied, and I'm going to paste it in there. And I'm going to ask ChatGPT to do it. Now it's trying to understand the question. Look at the bottom part. Let's see it. It's working, it's working, it's working. It's trying to understand the question. Oh. So here is the information above, and here is what ChatGPT is coming up with. Now, if you've never seen ChatGPT perform before, it's pretty amazing. And it's going for the sources. It's adding them at the bottom. So this is pretty incredible. So I am going to then cut and paste this information. I'm going to copy it. And I am going to go to a product that I like to use and that I used before called beautiful.ai. Okay, and that's the one that you're looking at here. And I'm going to go over to the front of it, and I'm going to ask beautiful.ai. It says create a new presentation. So I'm going to create a new presentation. And I can use the Silver Burtnick and Associates template that I've created, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use a designer bot. And in there, I'm going to put the information that we just saw. Okay, this is everything that we were there. I pasted it into here. I'm going to generate the presentation. We look at our little guy here who's working hard, curating supporting visuals. Now remember, this is probably, let's say I've done this, it's October the 3rd. I've got the September information from the main real estate board or main board of realtors, and I'm going to post this in 1 minute on my Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera. So it's creating the slides. And here we go. This is pretty cool. It gives you an overview of what's happening. Rising prices, they're up by 5%. Inventory is low. There's high demand. Median prices have gone up. Number of homes up for sale now, et cetera, et cetera. It's taken all of that data. Is it a buyer's market? A seller's market? Oh, sorry, go back. Here's some of the challenges for realtors. You know, fewer timing, fewer sales, market timing is important. Opportunities, the outlook. And you can go in here and you can change the photos, make them more colloquial, whatever you want. And of course, the next slide I'm going to add would be your brand. All right. So you put in your brand to add to the slide. And there we go. We've actually made a, let's go. So we've made a main real estate trends. All right. And all you have to do to share it is you're going to come up here. You're going to copy the link, but it's going to ask you to make it public. So I am going to, at the end of the day, I'm going to send you this these screens as well. So in about a minute and a half, I've actually created a report that you can send out to your clients. You can produce it on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever, and you can be educating your people as well. So let me go back to our library and where we were. So there are some other AI tools that I want you to see. So that we've talked about ChatGPT. We've talked about how we can take any sort of a press release and create a visual for it, which people are going to love. But now I want to show you something that I really love, which is this, which is from a company called Studio. And Studio is spelled STUDEO, not IO, but EOHQ.com. Now it's a paid for product, but here's what I do with this, with Studio. It doesn't show you the process. There is a process that you go through, but here's what I end up with. So as I go, this is an interactive feature page. And what it does, it creates all of this from the photos that I have uploaded. So the photos of the living room bring, you know, and the bright and spacious, etc. All of that content that you see right here, all of this content is made from the photos. The photos look and see that there is a kitchen. So they add this content. They add this content. And that's how easy this one is. Obviously, you have to sign up. Obviously, there's a cost. Here we're in one of the bedrooms. The bedrooms are the bedroom photos. So I've uploaded all of the photos that I have on my MLS or that I use for my MLS. I've uploaded them to this product and I have an interactive feature sheet. Now I can send those to clients. I can post them on Facebook, Twitter, and that's what I do. I do with all of them. I post them on the listing. They go on our, look at this guy, he's busy singing, he's in the bathtub, he's in the shower. I love it. Get into our workplaces. Now, all of this copy, I did not write any copy. All of this copy is generated from the photos that it sees. So we talk about the workout, relaxing outdoors, and it's branded. It has, you know, you go in, obviously you create a template, but at the end of the day, it's branded. And that is a wonderful, wonderful attribute. Anybody have any questions before I go too much farther?
I do, Richard. How would you say the one that you just showed us, Studio HQ and Beautiful AI, because my understanding is both of those create presentations. How would you say those are different?
Well, the one, the beautiful.ai basically is like a PowerPoint. So it takes information and creates a PowerPoint for you, which you can share. The Studio HQ basically builds from the photos that you add. So one is using the content that you're providing to Beautiful AI to create I mean, I don't know about you, but for the life of me, I'm good at writing copy. I can do the copy, but then I get into how do I create a presentation for my clients, or how do I create a presentation for this, for what you're seeing right now. And at the end of the day, it takes me hours and hours and hours to create the PowerPoint. This creates it in a matter of minutes. Okay. Now, Studio and Studio HQ, all of this is done. The content is provided, or the content comes from the photos you upload. All right.
Got it.
It's pretty incredible. So let's get back to where we were. So I was showing you how you take that product. So our CRMs. I'm assuming that a lot of you use Close. Am I right? Or Follow Up Boss,
More and
or
more
some other Close. Yeah, a lot of you Close. So I don't know. Have you gone in and seen this part of Close, guys? So here's me ready to write an email, and I'm going to write this email to Dana. All right. Have you noticed this little light bulb that's there? Has anybody noticed it? Because when I click on it, this is what happens. I can ghost write an email about the 5. So let's say Dana's never been to Toronto. Okay. So it's going to write. Oh, I actually, sorry. I asked it to write in Spanish. I can get it to also write. Muy bien, sí. So let me go back to English. Sorry, English. So I'm going to write it. So, and I want it to be authentic, but I can choose it. I can say casual. Additional content, keep it short. Yes. Generate a subject. Sure. So start writing. So let's have it. Okay. So if I'm going to use the content, it puts it right in there, and it's written the email to the client. And I'm going to send it to Dana. Dana Whitaker. There you go. There's the email. So now she's going to get an email. Now, is that not a time saver? But we can also write. There can also be other issues. So here's the options that we have. We can send an email. We can create a note, add a to-do, all these things. But, we can post things on social media. And we can decide how we're going to write it. Okay. And if we're going to share it and what it's going to say. So all those are available in AI as well. Now, how many of you know about Crystal Knows? Did anybody here know about Crystal Knows? Jump in. If you want to take your mics off, please go ahead. I feel sometimes as if I'm just talking and nobody's listening, but take your mics off and chat with me. Anybody know what Crystal Knows is?
No.
No, but eager to hear.
Okay, so Crystal Knows. You've all done your DISC profiles, DISC profiles. So Dana emails me, and automatically in Google, I've signed on to Crystal Knows. I've added Crystal Knows to both my CRM and maybe Google email and stuff. Crystal Knows will go and it'll tell me what kind of a person Dana is and how I should respond to her. All right. So Crystal Knows is pretty nanu. It's pretty, you think, oh my God, this is a little bit much, but it's very, very good, especially if you're working with clients and you don't know them. So it'll go to her LinkedIn. It'll find out what kind of job she does, what kind of business she's in. And, do I tell a story when I'm talking to her? Do I only the facts, man? Do I do just the information? And does she like details? And does she like percentages? Here's, we're at 93.52% of the asking price. Dana, is this important to you? So it gives you a lot of information that you would not normally have. And it's absolutely wonderful. If those of you who have a team, I would say definitely get Crystal Knows, definitely get the people on your team to fill it out and find out where there are holes in your relationships with them. Because you may be working with somebody who, you say, I just need to get more out of this person, but you're not getting it out because you're dealing it in the wrong way. Crystal Knows will sort of act as it'll take information that they filled out their DISC profile, they've answered the questions, and it'll say where in the range of the DISC are those people, and how will they affect, how will they work together? Because sometimes you may make it, we've all made mistakes with team members, and these are one of the mistakes you want to avoid. So Crystal Knows is really incredible.
Wow, that really blows my mind. So with
It is.
Crystal Knows, can you give it some information if you have a pretty good guess, like this person's typically pretty analytical?
Well, you know what?
Does it
what
go
you
off
do
of its
is,
own?
well, if you're doing it with your own team, then you fill out the form. I mean, you basically answered the questions that you would normally have in a DISC profile, and you get them to answer the questions, and then it'll establish something. And then once that's established for you, it will, if I don't really know you, but I'm getting emails from you and you and I are having a conversation, it will tell me how to talk to you. It'll tell me how to write to you. It'll tell me how to respond to you, and what's the best way of doing that. I mean, we all have to be a bit of a chameleon, but this helps being a chameleon. Right?
Wow, we're truly incredible. A couple of comments here in
Yeah.
our chat. Grace is
Yeah.
asking, does it add a credit? So does ChatGPT add itself as a source? I think, is that what you're asking, Grace? If you're producing content and sharing it online?
Yes.
Yeah, it usually won't. ChatGPT will not be the source. ChatGPT in this situation, in the new product, the new addition to the 4.0, they're basically getting that information from other places. Basically, what ChatGPT is, there are probably people who are much more sophisticated technologically than I am and understand, but I look at it as a group of computers that is compiling information or getting information on a regular basis, and ChatGPT is just going and pulling that information into something that's very usable. There's another product that you can use, the one that's at the bottom, which is a Chrome extension called harpa.ai. And harpa, basically, anything you search on the internet, it'll compile information about whatever that search is. So it's not just somebody's, you go in and do a profile of Richard Silver, and some of it will be what I say, and some of it will be exactly what I have done. In other words, what university here, this degree, that degree, this information. So it creates much more information about it. So let's talk about a couple of things. So ChatGPT, obviously, Canva, hopefully you're using Canva. It will create, Canva now has an AI part of it. So you can basically go in and tell you what you want it to do. Web Chat GPT, which is a Chrome extension. All right, so you just add it to Chrome. Search chat for Chrome, add it to Chrome as well. Voice control for ChatGPT. It's a Chrome extension. I have some, the bit of the problem with it is all of a sudden I put it in, and then I started with the phone call, and all of a sudden I realized that it was copying what I was writing, my phone call and everything in there. So I sort of turned it off. Grammarly. I hope you're using Grammarly. Grammarly basically will, give you suggestions as to spelling or grammar. And I want to show you this one called Reimagine Home, because I think it's probably going to be pretty cool for you. So here's the original photo. You can see this. And you can go and it will create photos from a plain image. So here's the photo. Sorry, here's the original. Here's it reimagined. Here's the original. Here it is reimagined. And the same thing when it comes to, it will do exterior enhancement. You can do as a free trial. So a lot of you may be already using virtual staging. This gives you more control over it. You can decide how you want it to work and how you want it to look and how you want it to look. You basically are reimagining it. So I want to change the bathroom. Here's what I can get. You want to change the kitchen, etc. So there it is there, the new kitchen. But here it is, yeah. So the original and reimagined, and the same thing here. And we're reimagining it. And this is great for you. And obviously, here's what this yard looked before. What do you think is more saleable? Here it is reimagined. And it can do all this for you. However, at the end of the day, make sure, and it will, any of the photos that you choose to use, that you sign up for, they'll all have the information that it is, these images have been digitally staged. I just am in the process of selling a really big house. It was 12,000 square feet. The people just moved in. It did not have a lot of furniture in it, obviously, because they were moving from about a 4,000 square foot house into a 12,000 square foot house. And then they got transferred. So I had to go through, take all of our photos that were more along this line and create something that looked like this. But at the end of the day, it still said these photos have been digitally enhanced. So you have lots of options, and it is called Reimagine Homes. You can do, $99 a month. You can do the free try. Now, here's a suggestion. This is changing so fast. Don't do anything that don't buy any of these programs until you've done the 30-day test, the 30-day free trial, because I know that you are going to make changes. I know that you are going to decide this works, or I found another one that works even better. And every day there's going to be something new to add. Okay. So I would just suggest to you, do not jump in and buy the full, with the exception of ChatGPT, that I would buy and upgrade. That's $20 a month. It's not a big commitment, but if you're going to pay $100 a month and you've got three products that are doing the exact same thing, that doesn't make sense. Okay. So Reimagine Home, Beautiful.ai, and Harpa. Now remember, you're getting all of these screens. So let's talk about video though. So you can do voice synthesis, text-to-speech conversion, which creates voices like yours, if you want, with Be Human, it's called. Now, I think in the election you guys are going to be facing in the next year, and you already probably are seeing it online as well, all of a sudden you'll see Elon Musk saying things that he probably never said, or other people saying things that they never said. There's going to be a lot of bad actors, and it's just going to be one of those things you're going to have to look at. But this is how they're doing it. They're using these AI programs. There's audio enhancement. You see Adobe Enhance here. These are all the different programs you can look at no matter what it is you're doing. Adobe Enhance, you're showing, you're doing a video about a property and all of a sudden the dog starts barking or a plane starts flying overhead. You can take those sounds out. All right. Multimedia, Adobe Firefly. You've got 3 people walking down a hallway and you want to have 2 people walking down the hallway instead. You can use Adobe Firefly. Long form chops. A lot of us have done, and over the length of time I've been in the business, I've got tons and tons and tons of video, and they were done horizontally. And now for clips, for Facebook, for YouTube, they want the vertical and they want them shortened. So Opus Clip is very cool. So if you were to go and you were to take a long form video and put it into Opus Clip, it would divide it and it would tell you which of the I'll put in a video and it'll start at the top and it'll tell me which of the chops that it has done, the short form videos that it has done, and how their search engine optimization is. It gives them points, so you go from 96 points on of SEO to 47 to 33, and you can choose which ones you want to use and which ones you want to post. It adds the content. So it'll actually show, the clip of what it is you're saying, the video, all sorts of things you can put in there, branding. Those of you who unlike me, of course, who are vain, there's v.io. So there's this little mark here on my face. If I want to take it off, it will, I can use v.io to, personalize the videos and take things off I don't like. And the next thing we're going to see a lot of is 11 Labs, and it is going to be doing a lot of voice cloning. So you are going to hear things from Joe Biden or Donald Trump or whatever that they didn't really say, but they're using video voice cloning. So the great thing about the data, as we've seen, you can provide market data, messaging, localized content to match personal ideas. You can create PowerPoint presentations. In beautiful.ai, you've seen this, okay? I can go to our main and I can change the animation, and I can create it. I can convert it to classic slides. I can share it with the team. I can export the slide as a JPEG, as a PowerPoint, all these slides, and I can export them to Google Slides, or I can export the entire presentation as is. So let's say you wanted to have, Dana said, well, can you provide me with a PDF of this presentation? I can do that right away. And then I can also go in here and I can share it. So you can present those. You can look at, some of you may be using social media carousels. So that was from the information that we chose, and this is creating the carousels. So it picks the photos, it can talk about open houses, keys, whatever, and email campaigns. You've got a ton of stuff in there that you can use. The sky is the limit, guys. It really is. You now have an assistant who will work for you 24 hours a day. You don't have to worry about talking to them next morning or the day after. You just put it in and it'll give you the information. So you can do lots of things. You can do market data, sales volumes, median prices, days on the market. All of these things are available for you. Here is information about beautiful.ai, and that's beautiful.ai that does the presentations.
Elise had a question about,
yeah,
Richard,
sure.
if I could jump in, Elise had a question about Beautiful AI and using the press release that we had gotten from the Maine Association of Realtors. Do you have to take the content from the press release through ChatGPT-4 first, then through the presentation with Beautiful AI, or in order to get the presentation?
You know what? You may not have to anymore. At the time I wrote this, you did. Well,
like last
what
week.
I wanted to do is I wanted to simplify it. So oftentimes I see stuff that will come out of the Toronto Real Estate Board, and I go, I love the guy who does all the data at the Toronto Real Estate Board, but I keep on saying, I've always said to him, I said, you just need to give it to us in Twitterable phrases. In other words, he's just one of these people, he loves the statistics, but a lot of the statistics, you have to find a way of making sense for the buyer, the seller. And that's all I've asked ChatGPT to do, is take it to that next level and make sense of it so that it's easily digestible. My assumption is that, most clients who are going to look at this do not speak realtor. And so they're going to need to, they want to be able to visualize things. They want to be able to see the diagrams. They like the charts. And if you can simplify it, so that's why I went from the main housing. As you can see, you can also, in this, I could have gone to the second page as well and just taken the second page. And let's do that right now, actually. So we've got the second page here. Let's copy it. Let's go to ChatGPT, and please make this data, please simplify, sorry. I will do that. Please simplify this data for house buyers. And then I'm going to add all the data in there. I'm going to paste it all in. And there we go. So it's understanding the question. It's basically reading it. It's all happening at the bottom here. There we go. It's copied it. And now look what's going to happen. I just like that extra step because I want to be able to simplify it so that it makes sense. I'm not a big data person. I love, I'll look at a lot of the data, but what I really like to do, I like, how's that going to affect my buyers? How's it going to affect my sellers? How's it going to affect me?
I like that. I find the more I'm using it, the better quality questions we ask it. That's really what it
Right.
comes down to, is really kind of even qualifying our questions. And then also giving it sources, because I'm seeing some sources too, like I wouldn't necessarily want to use a competing broker's information
No,
or, something else, but we can tell it.
Yeah. Well,
This is awesome.
yeah. But then you can also go in here and you can say, create Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter posts from this information, adding emojis and adding emojis. Okay. There we go. And let's see what it comes up with. There we go. I think you want to be, as much as possible, you want to be the person who's providing information to your clients or to the marketplace so that people come back to you. So here is a very easy peasy way of doing a Facebook, a LinkedIn, and a Twitter post. The sources are there if you want, but in this situation, I would just cut and paste these separately and put the, and it even has, see, it has the hashtags as well, which you really want to have as well when you're doing a post. So now how long would that process have taken you, Dana, to do one of those ads?
Like 5 hours.
5 hours, I know.
So
let's see what
each platform.
I know. What's great about it, and then we can go in here as well. Okay, so let's go and let's create a, okay, we're going to take this and we're going to go back into beautiful AI and we're going to say, create a new presentation, use the designer bot, and let's add that information. And you'll end up with a different, basically a different kind of presentation. This will be more directed towards your buyers because that's what we've told it to do. We wanted it to be for buyers. I love watching this. It's like watching a cake bake or something like that. Here we go.
Oh.
Richard, this is
Yeah.
Laura. So
Yeah.
you can customize these. We could make it our own colors.
Yeah.
switch
Yeah.
out
Oh
photos?
yeah,
And
definitely. Definitely.
Is it a price one to cost, but no free
There
one?
is, well, I've been on it for a long time now, so there is a cost, but it's not a big cost. The one
Okay.
that is fairly costly is the one that I showed you at called Studio. That one is costly.
Okay.
But let me go back here.
Laura, I looked this one up and it said $144 a year.
A year, yeah,
Nice.
or $12 a month. It's okay.
Yeah.
So Dana, I'm going to put in Dana's name because the housing market is always shifting, but the current trend of the rising prices, low inventory. So instead of Jane Smith, sorry, I'm going to put in, we'll put in Dana's name there at the bottom as the person who said that. So you're the one, you're putting yourself out there as being the person that they have to talk to, or that is creating this information and sending it to them. Process for buying a home: get pre-approved, find a real estate agent, search for homes, make an offer, negotiate the sale. Talks about the market, what's happening. I don't know these areas, but is that fairly accurate? I would hope so. And that's another thing that you have to do is every time you get a chance, I think what you have to do is you have to look at it, look at what you're reading, look at what you're writing, look at what it's producing, and just double check to make sure there's no things that you shouldn't have said. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to take, you're the one who's responsible for if there's a mistake or whatever. Now, that being said, there are going to be things. I'll give you an example. Remember, I told you about how I love Studio HQ. Well, the very first time I used it, I uploaded all the photos, and on the main floor of the property, they were using a porcelain tile that looked like wood. So of course, the content talked about the wood on the main floor. Well, it wasn't wood; it was porcelain tile that looked like wood. So that was one of the things that we had to go in and correct. So there are going to be things that you will have to correct with it.
Good catch. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm open to questions. Anybody have any questions? Open up your mics and just join in. Tell me.
Yeah,
Tell me
Mike's
your life stories.
camera's back on. Come back.
Yeah. Come back.
I
Put
have a
those
quick
cameras
question.
on.
With,
Yeah.
with Chat GPT-4, is it current information? Was it 3.5 that was antiquated, a year and a half old?
It's a year and a half ago information in 3.5. So for $20 a month, you're updated. You can also create your personality on 4. You can tell them who you are, where you sell, so you don't have to repeat it every time you go in. And just the way if you had a partner or an assistant, treat ChatGPT like that and just give them lots of information about who you are and also how you want it to respond. What kind of voice do you want it to be in? Do you want it to be compelling? Do you want it to be very casual? I like to be very, I don't want to be negative, but I want to be realistic. And that's a tough one these days because it is a tough, it's a tougher market for us anyways. And there's a lot of doom and gloom out there for some of the agents. And, for me, I want it to be very positive, but I want it to be realistic. I'm not into fooling anybody. I don't want to be these agents who, if you say to me, how's the market? Oh, it's great. It's great. Yeah. Whether it is or not, I think you want to be realistic, but informative.
And one follow-up, first of all, Richard, huge
Yes.
value. Thank you for being so generous and
Pleasure.
sharing. all this. That's really nice of you. How did you learn this? Was it self-taught? Was it the Katie Lamb?
Self-taught.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, Katie was a big help. Katie, I'd already been playing around with it as well, but Katie is always a big help when it comes to technology. She's always leading the pack. So those of you who don't know her or haven't heard her at NAR or she's been around for a long time. She and I are good friends. Her courses are well worth sitting in on, whether it's just, and you can go, she has tons and tons and tons. Any question that's out there to do with real estate and the internet and Facebook and, social media or, just search her, she'll answer those questions for you.
She's got a great blog that she posts to regularly, and she's
Yeah.
posting on YouTube also now. So follow
Yeah,
her on
all the
YouTube.
time. Yeah, and you can do it without paying a cent.
Yeah, she gives
But if you,
so much away.
she gives a lot away. And here's one of the things I want to tell you about, which is this. For years and years and years, whenever something like this comes forward, I like to talk to people about it. I like to convert them or do whatever to encourage them. Strangely enough, a lot of people ask me why I would do it. I mean, why are you telling people how to do what you do? I mean, they're gonna, they'll be better at it than you will. And I say, yeah, but there is a huge difference between telling people about something, educating them, and the best part of education is action. So yes, I want you to know about how to do it, but I also think it's very, very important that you go out and, that's why I give you the homework. That's why I say, actually go and play with this. It's like one of those things with, a lot of the programs that we've had to deal with on, in technology, it's very hard to break something with technology, but you can learn from it. So just do it, take the homework and do the work. More questions?
Any other
Grace,
questions?
Grace, you look like you have some questions, no? Are you
I do.
overwhelmed, guys?
No, I'm fascinated and just think it is phenomenal.
Yeah, listen, anything that can save us time. Oh, there's my Heather. Hi, Heather. Here's my buddy.
You're on mute, Heather.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hi, Richard. This is amazing. I mean, you're incredible, and thank you so much. I did have one question. The crystal nose is super fascinating to me. And that's another question. I'm looking at the free versus the premium versus the business. And are you using the premium? Like, what are you using?
Right now I'm not using any of it, but I did it for a short time. I used the premium, especially when I was looking at increasing the size of my team.
Okay.
And I wanted to find out how people would work together and whether people were a good fit. And it's really interesting because I think, we run our team. Our team is a little bit different. Jim is completely different than I am. You won't see him on one of these, except maybe he'll be listening in. He is very much, he's like the numbers guy. Jim can tell you by looking at an offer, it's 97.43% of the asking price, like that. It's just in his head. And he can get into all the details and the data. He loves that. And I'm the big picture guy. I'm the guy about, oh no, you got to have a white gym. You got to do, a white bathroom or something. I'm that kind of person. But he's the other. So I think, when you're putting a team together, we sort of deal with ours as if we are almost like a lawyer's office. So there's Jim and myself who are the partners. And we pay for the assistant. And then we have people who are our associates. And they basically are the ones that are, that work with us and that they handle things that we can't handle or that they're better suited for. We have a wonderful woman who is very young and she's great with millennials. And so she gets all the millennial clients. Jim is about 50, divorced dad, single dad, and stuff like that. So he has his own specialties, and I'm the one who's a lot of my clients are downsizing, and they're either moving into condos or they're moving away to different locations. They're heading south or heading out to the West Coast. In Toronto, I think this year I've helped about 4 people move out to Vancouver or Vancouver Island, because they want to be a little bit warmer, a little bit more on the West Coast. So that is how I use Crystal Nose to find out more how we're going to work as a team.
Got it. Thank you.
And before I add anybody, I would make sure that they did Crystal Nose and looked at them in terms of the team.
Yeah. Super cool. Thank you.
There's some really, really great applications.
Hi, Richard. I have a question.
Yeah.
Hi, Richard. Michelle Parady here. Thank you so much. This was so informative.
Pleasure.
I would love to know how you set up your QR code on your screen. I clicked on it and it's amazing. Your whole list of everything. Right
Everything.
there.
Okay. That is something called Blink. BLINQ. Okay, but you can download it, you can put it on your iPhone. However, when you go into the version that you'll see on the internet, if you go on your laptop, your desktop, and you go there and you open blink.com, it will give you the option of having those. And I'll show you some of the other backgrounds it has. So it has this one. It has this one. So these are all Blink backgrounds. And what's great about it is you can get all that information. So when you go to Blink, if you do it on your desktop, you can enter all the information. Everything is there. And then it's very, very easy when I get that information. It will on my iPhone, on my iWatch, there is one of the screens is the QR code. And on my iPhone, one of the screens is the QR code. So you don't need cards anymore. You just, everybody has an iPhone or a phone that they can. Yeah. So It's great. You just go and create them. Yeah.
Thank
and
you.
These screens are done through Blink.
Great. Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
And let us know if
Anybody-
you need it, once you've got your QR code, if you need help getting it into a screensaver on your phone, let us know, 'cause we've got you covered. We can help you with that. All the cool kids are doing it.
All the cool kids are doing. Yeah, you know what? Every time I go to an event and people are walking around with these massive cards and everything, and I just pull out my phone and say, "Here, do this." Now, I also have one. I'll show it to you. It's someplace here. It stopped working, but I'm waiting for another one. There is a product called statusring.com. So, but STATIS ring.com. I think I've sent it back to him, but basically it is a ring that is NFC, so near field communication. So all I have to do is when I see you, I walk up to you and you say, "Well, tell me about yourself." I say, "Oh, hold on." And I tap the back of your phone and all of a sudden it'll open my website. So it looks like the Quora ring that you see that everybody's selling. That's called Status Ring, STATIS ring.com. I'm waiting for them to send me a new one. My other one lasted for about 2 years. I think it just sort of dies after a certain point. But it's an NFC like the cards. I mean, some of us have been to, I think at the G&E, they were giving out cards where you just tapped and it would open up your VCF, your information about yourself, your personality, etc. Not your personality, but your links. But this is something that will open up your website, and people are just blown away when they see it. So it's just a really interesting conversation piece as well. It's just a ring that'll answer it.
So fascinating. I have another question.
Yeah.
Do you have a program or a favorite program that will help you with the photo order, optimizing the photos that you're entering? So when you've got a big, beautiful listing and you've got 100 photos to pick, and we need those first 4 or 6 to really be the best ones.
I wish. I think at the end
this
of
is
the
my
day,
daily challenge.
I know. Well, I'm very lucky. One of the things we did, and it's a little bit crazy, but we hired a full-time videographer and cinematographer. There's only 4 of us who actually are selling property, but he's constantly, he's with Jim today at a property and they're doing some video, they're doing some shorts. I'm going to see him at 3:00 this afternoon. We're going to do a whole bunch of social media things. We're going to take the newsletter that we are just getting ready to send out, and we're going to do a screen version of what I'm talking about. But he's very, very helpful, and we've made him. We call him full time. He's not. He works about half. If it's a 40-hour work week, he'll work maybe 25 to 30 hours a week. So, but he's the one who will pick out our photos, the best photos, and then send them to us and say, these are. He's got a great eye. And if you go on my website, if you look at some of the videos that we've shot, or if you go to our YouTube or everything, whatever you'll see it on that with the QR code. you'll be able to see some of the video stuff that he's done. He's basically been my videographer and photographer for 15 years.
Great. Is that richardsilver.com?
No, it's called Torontoism. So TORONTOISM. We actually, there's a wonderful, there's a wonderful agent in, she's now the president of the Miami Real Estate Board. And she had for years and years and years, in the early days of the internet, we used to go to Inman, and she was always there. And she had a website called Miamiism. And I said, is it okay if I steal that? I'd love to do Torontoism. And that was my blog for a long time. And then it became my website. And she said, yeah. And so every time I see her, I say, we've got, she has Miamiism, I have Torontoism, and we have this friend who lives in Oregon, doesn't know what he's going to call his. Little joke, little bad humor.
Some of you are going to get that later.
Yeah, that's daddy humor.
There we go. Yeah, we weren't doing the dad jokes counter.
Yeah.
Awesome.
My dad.
Any other questions? How are we doing on time?
We're pretty good. We're like 12:10 right now. So
yeah, I wanted to give us a little
over an hour
for some Q&A. I just wanted to say thank you for pointing out the ghostwriter feature on close. I hadn't.
Yeah, did you not know? Yeah, it's very cool.
Answer to my prayers. Thank you.
Yeah, and also, as I said, it'll ghostwrite stuff for you. You can really get into how you want it to answer, whether you want it to be really like story-like or whether you want it to be very concise. And that's the thing as well. It gives you those options.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything that's going to save time in my day.
What's everybody excited about?
Basically lazy. So are you going to all get in there? I want you all, I'm going to send Dana the information right away. I'm going to send her and I want you to go to that, that homework pages and try them with ChatGPT. Now you don't have to sign up for the full, but I think at the end of the day, if you think you're going to go down that road, I would definitely sign up for 4. And watch every day. There's going to be something new and something added. Those sources just appeared about a week and a half ago. They didn't used to source material at all. Now the sources are there. So, Christina, you got it?
I got it. This was great. Great content.
Pleasure. Ryan? He says thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Just, you've got my information now. If you want to email me, definitely take the QR code and send me your information and I will upload it to my database right away.
And that's what I was going to say too. Be sure to add Richard to your list. Go find him, follow him on social media, connect on LinkedIn. All of us in the real estate industry, I love getting everyone else's marketing material. So, add each other to our sphere of influence list. We want to see what everybody else is doing. And I would say, just my best advice, and I want to hear everybody else's ahas, but my best advice is, pick 1 or 2 of these platforms to really kind of dive into first, because it can be a bit overwhelming, but the more you play with it, the more you get to know it. It gets to know you, like you said, and it's pretty fun. I'm just waiting for, my Rosie bot to come do the dishes and laundry like the Jetsons.
Yeah, and sexual favors. Anyways, one of the other things I think that's really important as well is, I don't know about you, but sometimes, like, let's say, my friends in Denver, I've got 4 or 5 friends in Denver, and they all send me the exact same newsletter. You don't have to do that anymore.
Exactly.
I know the company produces a newsletter for you, but why not personalize it? Like I'm talking about, our lovely, millennial buyer agent is, she's just gotten engaged. So I'm sharing that information. I wouldn't be able to do that on a company newsletter, but you want to personalize it a lot, and people will read it if it's personalized. They want to know what you're up to.
Yeah, absolutely. They really, really do. And to be hyper local focused. I mean, we'll do general and we'll talk about Maine or the coastline, that kind of thing. But to get into your specific neck of the woods, that's really where the power of this is going to be really big.
I have a lot of my friends who have moved to Mexico, and I go to Mexico at Christmas for Puerto Vallarta. And one of the things that we're shooting this afternoon is the difference between a white Christmas and a green Christmas.
That's
You know?
fun.
And those of us who always had white Christmases, I mean, it was 30 years ago when I had my first green Christmas. It's still Christmas. It takes a while to realize it's still Christmas and that there's still lots of things happening. But, you know, we get very focused on having a white Christmas. I'm dreaming. Yeah.
I don't know if we call it maybe the red Christmas when I was out in Las Vegas.
Alexa has a question here. She wants to know, do you tie your personal website to the SIR site? Yes, but I do have a page. It's a tough one, you know, because there's always a bit of this thing between, you know, totally promoting SIR all the time, which I think we have to. I mean, we have a dynamite brand. We've got to do it. But I try and do it as much as possible, you know. But people, they basically become ubiquitous so that one follows into the other and people can get you either way.
Well, and I find just having different landing pages, you know, because we all have at least 2 websites now and usually a couple more. So I think it's going to depend on what article or what you're presenting and which one's going to match the best, you know, and then that creates more content for you as well. Good question.
I think you'll always do well just being the source of information. You want to be the source. You want to be, you know, I work, I don't know if you know, there's a wonderful teacher by the name of Adorna Carroll, and she teaches for NAR, and she's absolutely wonderful. She teaches the buyer agency course as well, the BAR course. Anyways, she says you want to be the source of the source, but not the source. In other words, you want to tell people, you know, this is the best place to go for information, but you don't want to be giving them the information. So you have to always remember that. So, you know, if somebody says to me, I'm thinking of divorce, what am I going to do? Blah, blah, blah. I say, well, here's the lawyer you need to go to. But I'm not going to give them marital advice for sure. Been there.
That's really good advice.
Yeah. Be the source of the source, but not the source. Give them 3 names of plumbers, but don't tell them how to do the plumbing yourself. Okay.
Well, thanks so much, everyone, for being here. And a big special thanks to Heather also for introducing us and making this connection. And again, that's the power of our brand and us being able to network and mastermind with each other. I just got invited to a manager mastermind circle that I'm going to be joining monthly, and just, you know, all in the whole, you know, goal and purpose is to figure out how to better ourselves so that we can better service all of the people that we get to come into contact with and work with and truly help build their real estate legacy. So thanks again, Richard Silver.
Pleasure. Heather and I have known each other for years from our networking group, and there she is again. She pops up. Look at that. But you know, there's so much information. There's great information there. Thank you again, guys.
Thank you, Richard.
Pleasure.